Hi, my name is Nicole Jacobs, and I'm the Domestic Abuse Commissioner for England and Wales, and I'm really thrilled to be able to say a few words to you today. It's really important that I introduce myself to you as the Domestic Abuse Commissioner. It's a fairly new role. I've been in post as designate for a little over a year, but of course, we now have our Domestic Abuse Act, which was passed in Parliament a few weeks ago, and now part of that act gives my office a statutory underpinning and footing to carry on with the role of Domestic Abuse Commissioner for England and Wales. That act does many, many other things in terms of clarifying our definition for domestic abuse, creating new offenses, new ways, particularly in criminal court and family court, to improve our practice and ways that we address domestic abuse. And there's many, many things I would love to tell you and share with you about that. But importantly today, at the launch of the Harm Network's guidance and policy for UK universities, this is an important time to really value what we have in front of us in terms of the opportunity you have today in using this really important guidance to best effect. I have to congratulate Dr. Roxanne and the rest of the Harm network that has come together to really provide this really excellent guidance for you. I was involved a little bit myself in terms of advising and having a look at the guidance, but obviously the credit is very much due to Dr. Khan and the Harm network. And I think what's so important about this guidance is just recognizing the quality that it is, how it brings together for you not only excellent information, but great advice in terms of policy and implementation. So I think it's the kind of guidance, whether you have something in place already at your university for staff and students, it's the kind of guidance you could take and use as a wonderful tool to refresh, invigorate, conversation, really good implementation, conversations, and action planning and steps to really make that guidance come alive and really be true, true to the ambition that the Harm Network has for you and for us. If you don't have anything in place, I would really encourage you to, as leaders and as active members of your university community, to really use this guidance as your template, as your best practice, to take away, use, create conversations, make changes and next steps. I've worked in domestic abuse for many, many years, and of course that links very, very much and overlaps into wider issues of sexual violence, stalking and harassment, so-called honor-based abuse. There's so much overlap in these issues. But one of the things that I think I've seen over many years in my own day-to-day work and in lots of projects and initiatives I've worked in is how daunting sometimes these issues can feel, and how strongly you likely feel about it. If you're here today, that is undoubtedly the case. And I think documents like this. This guidance really help those of you who really feel strongly and recognize the importance of doing something about domestic abuse morally, legally, in terms of our responsibilities at universities, to really use this as a great framework to start conversations, to bring people together, and to really use this incredible mine of information, advice, and support in this guidance. So I know that can seem daunting. Congratulations to all of you who've made some of those steps or who've been leading the way in your respective campuses. Thank you for what you're doing. It makes a huge difference, particularly, I think, in a university context when people may not use terms like domestic abuse or identify in that way, to really bridge these gaps, to talk about this issue, to raise awareness, and to really get structures and policies in place to really have a meaningful a meaningful support and change for someone when they come forward, or when they recognize they need help, or they recognize someone that they're working alongside as a student or staff member who needs help as well. So thank you for what you're doing. Please keep it up. Use this guidance, and a huge thank you to the Harm Network, your expertise, and all of the experts you've brought together for this. Thank you for allowing me to say hello to you as the Domestic Abuse Commissioner for England and Wales. I'd love to come back another time and talk a bit more broadly about how things are going, how you're implementing things, how that's linking to the communities where you're working and living in universities, and the importance of our wider connections in relation to implementing the act that we have now, and really ending the kind of postcode lottery for services, but our responses to domestic abuse. So again, thank you. Have a wonderful event. And thank you for allowing me to introduce myself and say a few words. Have a great day.